And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome back to 2026 and the first of our Saturday night Lyceums coming to you from the Paul Christian Spiritualist Church down on the south coast of the UK. We've got wonderful, wonderful gentlemen with us tonight. I've had the great pleasure of meeting Stephen a couple of times up in Inverness. That
That's
was
right, yes.
that was fun,
With
and
Frederick.
also and also Stephen has been working down here in Poole and working his way through my top shelf, which is absolutely lovely. So,
Yes, that's true.
he's Stephen is just such a lovely, gentle soul. He really is. He's an exceptional medium, exceptional tutor, but he also has this other side. Stephen, you are the snowboarding champion for, when was it? This year, last year?
Yeah, I'm the current British champion for banked slalom and snowboarding. Yep,
Excellent.
at the grand old
Excellent.
age of 52.
That's all right. That's fine.
Yes.
We needed to get that in because we've got a gentleman watching tonight who's very envious, bless you, who's very envious because their snowboarding career ended very abruptly by falling off a mountain. So, Stephen, if you're out there, there you go, sir. So, Steve, how's it going with you? New year, what have we got lined up?
Oh, what have we got lined up? Creating more events, doing more workshops, coming on to beautiful times like this in the great company of people like yourself. I've got a couple of things lined up doing on other YouTube channels. I'm just talking about spiritual nature. I'm going to Canada for a month in April
Wow.
to work over there. In Calgary, Lethbridge, and St. John's as well. At the same time now, I'm teaching snowboarding. I was coaching the Cairngorm Snowboard Club today, actually, and it's because I'm just at the bottom of the Cairngorm Mountains, the ski resort. So kept going, kept busy, and teaching my little boy to snowboard too. That's a joyful thing.
Little Brody, I always said little Brody's
Yes.
one of the luckiest boys alive because he has such fun with his mum and dad. He really does. Well, after that list of things that you're doing, I suddenly realised how boring I am.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So thank you, Stephen. Good night, everybody. Stephen, in our little talk before we started going on this live stream tonight, you touched on a subject about the path of grief. Very important subject, because in spiritualism, the majority of people who come into our movement come in because they have been touched by grief.
Yeah, or they're going to be touched by grief at some point. And even as a medium for, I don't know, good few years now, when someone really close to you, we're touched by grief again, and it hits just as hard, I think. But at the same time, there is beauty in it. As hard as it is, there's beauty in it, and it's just finding it. And simply that's because there's love, which is, in my understanding, the thread of life that keeps our souls, our hearts, and minds all bound together. And when we're in a receptive space of mind, we can perceive them, with personally, and also as a working medium as well.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. I've had the great honour of being with people with end-of-life care. I must admit, when the first time was like, I haven't got a clue what to do. You know, in fact, I stood there at the door, and one foot was stepping forward, and the other step was running away. It was like, I don't know what to do, but it comes naturally. Just to be you, to be present in their presence.
Absolutely. And I think you just touched on something so perfect when you mentioned presence. And in my understanding, that's where the true relationship is blending and bonding always, whether we're with people physically or people in the spirit world. And it's that presence as it comes and binds together. There's that true conversation. Don't know if it's the right way to say experience is a better word, I think, where the conscious mind can be the observer of that experience. And that's what I think.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. Quick hello to everybody. Lovely Craig Morris is with us. Good evening, Craig. 2026 to you, and I can see you're busy already. Ashley is in. Leslie Thomas. We love Leslie Thomas, but don't tell her. Belinda Dickinson is in Florence. Is it snowing there? Because it seems to be snowing everywhere else in the world. Neil Payne is with us. Geraldine Stormfield. I've had to put a distance between myself and Geraldine because I sense that there is great opportunity that we could get ourselves into some terrible, terrible trouble. So,
but you, Lawrence, never.
I know. Who'd have thought? Candy over in the Isle of Wight and Nick Smith. Now, Nick Smith puts in a comment here that I would like just to bring up, because there's a couple of points in this I think bear open discussion. Nick's saying that his dad passed away on the 15th of October last year. But he goes on to say he came through 3 days later. His energy light wasn't bright, as a medium said. Other mediums say he's strong energy. Some say it's poor. First of all, Nick, I remember your posts and everything, and sending condolences on the loss of your father. And it is a loss, isn't it? Yes. Even though we are spiritualists and even though we are mediums, it's a loss. It does hit us, of course it does. But I'm just looking. Do you know what? Sometimes us mediums say things, and I think sometimes we're better off if we didn't say things.
Yeah.
I remember at my father's funeral, and this person was probably very well-meaning, but at the end of the service, as we were leaving, we had the service here at the church and then up at the Creme. As we'd finished the service here, we're leaving, and of course, I'm upset. I've just lost my dad. Of course I'm upset. And somebody came up and said, I don't know why you're sad. You know he's in a better place. Well, we nearly had 2 funerals that day, I can tell you. But sometimes we get awkward, don't we? We get awkward and we want to say something that will
help somebody too. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm reading it right. As I'm quite dyslexic as well, but he says his light wasn't as bright. I don't believe that. No. Everyone's soul is pure, and shines bright always. I think maybe it might have been within the perception of how that medium, maybe I don't know this in the in that situation and how that came around for that person to say that. Maybe that connection just wasn't as strong, and that's what brought his that word's out. And
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, everyone's soul is as beautiful as one another and shines brightly always. And aye.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Stephen, because I'm exactly the same thought as that, as working mediums. Hands on heart, we go up some nights and we think, oh my God, what went wrong there? That was awful. And other nights you get up and you think, wow, that's nothing to do with the spirit. That's to do with us. The spirit is constant.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Nick, sir, if I may offer some words there, and if you take it, great. If you don't take it, great. All right, there's no offence or harm intended. Your dad is your dad in spirit. All right, he's as big and as bright as he ever was. Some people will see him clearly. Some people will see him through darkened lenses. That's down to the medium. It's not down to your dad, mate. All right, so.
Yeah.
And also, again, as I just briefly touched on, we can be very awkward around grief, can't we, Stephen? That was your lead into saying something.
Awkward. No, I think some people, and myself included, it's, when you go to a funeral, for example, it's like, how you doing? How are you doing? I'm like, oh, we're at a funeral. How do you think I'm doing?
Yeah.
It's that awkwardness of, what do I say? How do I make it better? Kind of thing,
Yeah.
And I think it's just finding those right words that can be encouraging and enriching. I think, and again, I think it's personal to each individual, and things like that. And sometimes it could just be, as you mentioned before, you talked about presence. Your presence can speak louder than words just by being there, offering a smile, a handshake, and even how you handshake, a nice strong one, can give someone so much comfort. It's just the, mannerisms, your presence can speak louder than words, and my thoughts.
Yeah. Because a lot of us are fixers, aren't we? We want to do something to make it right.
Yeah.
And when we're faced with grief and those in grief, I remember I've said this a few times to people when, after a passing, I said, just don't worry about people being awkward around you, because everybody wants to say something that's going to take the pain away, and nobody can. I think one of the biggest gifts is somebody who's willing just to go in there and sit and listen.
Absolutely. And, when there's in the celebration of somebody's life, I've had the honor of standing up and saying a few words a couple of times myself, and making it enriching, especially, depending on the people's the beliefs, I guess, that are there, that I'd rather, especially when it comes to my funeral, I says to Tricia, my wife, says, don't talk about me in the way of he was this, he was that. Kind of keep me alive, because I am.
Yeah.
He is this special person. His personality is still alive. Think of that personality, the best moments and times in your life. It's still there, still living and breathing within them.
Very true. I correct myself when I do it, and because of listening to other mediums working. And it always struck me, the descriptions, when we're doing the evidential mediumship, people keep saying, they were.
Yeah.
I think, no, they are.
Aye.
Because they're not
Yeah.
saying, Spirit's not saying in my ears, saying, "Oh, I
It's-
used to be like this." You're actually living it. You're in that presence.
It's keeping them
Magical
dead.
word. Yeah,
It's like
very true.
and keep them living.
Yep. Lovely Reverend Ashley. Good evening, darling.
Ashley, I saw your comments coming up there. It's nice to see you, or nice to know you're there.
She's saying a lot of the awkwardness in knowing what to say to someone in grief comes from us as human beings caught in the need to make it neat. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah. That is so true. Where are we? Now, there is a comment here. Now, I'm going to highlight this comment because this is something that does pop its head up perennially. Julie Effamy. And she's saying, I'd like to ask, if there's a God, why is there so much suffering? Now, I'm sure none of us are strangers to that comment. Those of us associated with churches or centres or anything in public service, care workers and things. We're very quick to blame everything, aren't we? We've always got to get a scapegoat in. I say the part of the human frailty is we're either looking for somebody to blame or somebody to save us. And I always say that person is the person in the mirror, no one else. What do you think?
Yeah. When I had an experience one time, when you were talking there, I wrote down, depending on hardships, sometimes it's more down to people's personal responsibility, the vehicle of that person. There might be something mentally not different in many ways as well. But I remember when it comes to like natural law, for example, I remember an experience that I had, and it's like it's hard to explain. It's like not watched, but I did watch, but without eyes. It's an experience where I could see in some way how someone passes to the spirit world and so on. But the thing is, from that, it's so hard to bring to words without bringing in an emotion in some sense, because it felt like there was no emotion in some way. Of course there is, because it was like everything was okay, was the feeling that I had. It was just natural law. It was beyond, behind, it's where there was no pain, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. It was natural law. And what I would say is that exists because I've felt it. I know it as an experience of my own. So that exists where there's no pain.
Yeah, that's very true. Lovely Candy from the Isle of Wight, and she says, or asks, everyone deals with grief individually? Question mark. What do you think, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every single part, out of the billions of people in this world, there is no one else that is you. There is no one else that is your loved ones. So therefore, the uniqueness in each individual, we can contemplate upon that. But then it brings the reality of the uniqueness of our relationships with one another too. So our grieving for somebody is going to be different to somebody else. It might be similar in some way, but your experiences with that person internally through feelings and emotions and so on is unique to you with your unique relationship. So definitely it's differently and individually.
And again, in that awkwardness to say something, to make things better to fix it, as Ashley put it there, is we can very easily slip into that, oh, I know, when I lost my whatever, and we suddenly turn it back to ourselves, and it's not. It's not. I lost my mum, you lost your mum. We walked totally different paths. We talked totally different
paths. And
so
I think when we find our relationship with grief, and because that's what it is, we're building a relationship with it. And, you know, many people may look at it in different ways, you know, and some people say, get over grief. You know, I don't think that happens. It's more like learning to live with. And sometimes, you know, because my mum passed away 12th of December, not this December past, but before. So this year was really raw. But at the same time, it's been, you know, if I can feel my mum close in grief, because we do feel closer to them, people hold on to that. And I don't feel that that's wrong. And if I could feel my mum whilst in grief closer, I'm going to hold on to that. But at the same time, it's how we build the relationship with it, in my opinion, and how we can turn it around to find, yes, that hurt's going to happen, but where's the moments of beauty in it? Where really and truly is the moments of connection in it? Because my mum's there, your mum's there, people's loved ones, whatever relationships you have with them, friends, family, they're there. And it's finding your way of building your relationship in the experiences behind maybe signs in life. As the music plays, for example, the feeling that it brings, understanding your own thought process, where you could be typing away and all of a sudden a memory of your mum comes into your awareness and you're like, where did that come from? I know my mum's close then, you know. So it's just building our relationships with it and learning to live with it in the best way we can, in my opinion.
It is, and allowing that path of grief to evolve, you know, and not being. I've seen people go, well, I must get on. I've got to get on, and I've got, you know, and it's sort of like, okay, you know what you're doing, you're delaying it, and that's fine. If that's how you're going to handle it for now, that's fine. But sooner or later, we used to have a lady here many years ago, and tragically, she lost her daughter. And a parent losing a child, I cannot. I have no idea. I don't have children. I can't imagine what we went through. But after 25 years, there was still that anguish there. Yeah, it's so difficult because it's for us to open up that path of healing. And healing isn't forgetting people. It's not being disrespectful, is it?
No, and when we mentioned presence before, there's that saying, information can touch the mind, but the presence of the spirit will touch the soul. And as I mentioned before, in my opinion, it can speak much louder than words. And that in itself brings that healing, because we have that connection. And when communication is working really nice and strongly, words may be there of evidence and so on, but it's the presence behind those words that give them life, give them feeling. It touches somebody so much more deeper. But therefore also with that person, as I mentioned, how do we find a way for them to be receptive in their own way, in their own understanding, be available to that people in the spirit world? Because I don't feel that someone comes for a reading and then we say, hi, your mum's here, she loves you very much, okay, on your way now. There has to be some kind of influence behind it that has a knock-on effect that allows them to grow in their own spiritual nature in some way. And that's where, in my opinion, healing happens.
Yeah. No, I agree, because I feel sometimes we can get a little bit too obsessive on what do you call evidence? Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
It
yes.
becomes this litany of they remember this, they remember that, they do this, they do that. And they're searching so much for facts, for statements.
Yes.
But if we just allow ourselves to pull back a bit and relax into that communication, we can turn it from a list of statements into a conversation. And when we move into that energy, that's when things really start to.
I noticed that in myself. When was it? Was it last night? It was. I think it was. I was given a demonstration, and then all of a sudden, I'm just getting all these pictures. You know, I'm getting all this imagery and stuff, and then all those details might have been great, but sometimes it's like, does that person in the spirit world really want me to go on about her handbag and what's in the handbag and the lipstick it is? And not that it's not wrong, you know, if that's the intention of the person in the spirit world. So I just had to take a little, like you said, relax. So I just relaxed, closed my eyes for a little second, just relaxed. And then that natural bond and blending, because it's nature, natural law, our soul in the spirit world, they know what to do and how to do it. And if we can be in that receptive state, all those, as I said, relaxed, and then all that senses started to ignite again with the feeling and the emotion and the personality rather than just facts.
Yeah. And again, it's a very good example of the dreaded trust word that us mediums have.
Yeah.
That we can say things. I'll give you an example. Mark and myself, we did a dem here between Christmas and New Year, and we love the Twixmas dem. It's just magical. I was working with a gentleman, and I'd gotten, it was the grandfather, well, the father of the gentleman, and then the grandfather he just presented this young man. And I said, you've got a young son on earth. And the guy went, yeah. And I said, because he's just presented him. And I said, and his heart is busting with pride. I said, I feel it. It's just, I'm so proud. And the gentleman said, yeah, he was named after him. Afterwards, I did the classic, why didn't I get that? But then I had to temper it with, did I need to? Is that my ego talking?
Yes.
Did I need to? The conversation was with this chap in the congregation and his dad who was there. I'm just a third party to it. Yeah, so I think sometimes we try too hard.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And I've done that and still do it now and again. But it's, I guess, just acknowledging it and, just doing the best we can.
Lovely Leslie Thomas here. And she says her husband, who was on a ventilator after it was turned off, the doctor said for about 10 minutes. We were speaking to him to comfort him and saying our goodbyes. But after 30 minutes, the doctors didn't understand why he hadn't passed. I knew he was struggling. I could see his parents with their hands stretched out to take him over. I could feel the change of energy, and the purest of light surrounded us. I said to him, I know you can hear me. Take your mum and dad's hands and go with them to the light. Unfortunately, it's cut off there, Leslie. But yeah, that I've been in similar situations with people and said, you know, it's okay to go. It's like, people sometimes just need that little bit of, not encouragement, obviously, that's totally the wrong word, permission.
Yeah. And I guess, I don't know, but sometimes, yes, it's natural law and the body can take its journey in that sense. But I remember, I've got a few examples, but I remember with my mum, one of them is me and my sister had not slept for like 2 days because we just did not want to leave her, be by her side. And then eventually we got a little room by ourselves. And then I lay down on the floor. And my wife brought up a blow-up bed for me and stuff. So, oh my gosh, it was so comfy. And then when I lay down, my sister had this big reclining chair. So you would think after 2 days we'll go into the deepest sleep because we were absolutely knackered. But 2 hours, I think it was, later, me and my sister both woke up at the exact same time. And that was just enough time so we could go over, hold my mum's hand, and just be there for the last few moments of our breathing. And another one with my gran. She says to my mum before, it's like she didn't want people around her all the time because she didn't want people to be seeing her in that way. But of course, everyone was there, and there was like her brothers and sisters, my mom's brothers and sisters, and she got her way because they've been there for like 2 days again, and they just went out to go and eat their fish and chips, and then in that time, this was just standing outside the door, and in that time, she took that moment, and she was that was her. So you and also, I'll shut up in a second. You've got to be going now. But even with the nurses that were coming in with my mum, and he says it's quite amazing when he was coming out with stories of like they've been lying, like people have been lying there for days, for example, and then it's like they've just waited for their long lost son to come all the way back from Australia to then hold her hand, and then that was it. He said there's definitely something behind it sometimes, in their opinion. So it's quite interesting.
Very true. We greatly underestimate the power of will and mind and consciousness. I've seen this in healing cases. I've seen people give up. I've seen people go, I can't do this anymore. And literally, they go very quickly. I've also seen people, we had a guy who used to come in many years ago, Peter. He was a bugger, and he probably still is a bugger when he's up there, but he was a lovely bugger. But Peter had stage 4 cancer. Peter was given 3 to 4 months to live. Peter said, excuse the French, everybody, not bloody lightly, he said, I haven't done all the things I want to do yet. So Peter hung on for 7 years.
Wow.
And it just went very peacefully one night in his sleep. Because he had set, that was it, he'd set his purpose, and really, I was just like, I used to love Peter. Well, I still do love Peter. He was a real bloke. He was funny. And you just had to remind yourself at times, going, oh my God, this guy is so much on borrowed time. It's, what the hell? Going back to the comments here, excuse me, I'm probably going to murder your name, so apologies. Hemmels? She says, you build a life around your grief, which is also mirrored here by the lovely Stephen Mager. And I think we grow around our grief rather than getting over it. Yeah, I like these comments.
Yeah, learning to live with it. And of course, we grow, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And again, that grief is going to be part of our life. Right. It's Esmeralda. Now I know. So Esmeralda, the lovely Esmeralda from Holland. Hello, darling. But one very interesting, you know what it's like, Steve? You don't remember every message that you've ever done because you would.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Not with my brain, no.
I just I walk in the kitchen going, give me a clue. I'm out here for a reason. No idea what it is. But I always remember the lessons that I get with in the mediumship. And I was having this beautiful communication from a father to his daughter in the congregation. And towards the end, it just shifted, and I went, So Dad's highlighting here the last 4 to 5 months. And she went, yes. And I said, and he's very apologetic because he tells me he was very awkward, and because of what was going on in the mind, things were said. And she went, yeah, that's very true. And then he said, and I said it out, and when I said it, I went, wow. I said, but he's telling me that his passing was part of his life's lesson. And I went, oh my God, I've never thought of that.
Right.
I've never, ever thought of that, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we never, as you say, we never, just like mentioned before, we never stop growing in this life and the spirit world. And spirit world is such a vibrant place. And I remember one time, just many of them, but this one particular one, I think it was a sister in the spirit world speaking to her a sister here, and the sister in the spirit world, she just wanted to be a mum, you know, and but she had lost a child during her time when she was physically here. But at the same time, she came forward holding the child in her hand to say, I'm a mum again. I can live my dream now in the spirit world, you know? And what we can't do physically, maybe we can do that in the spirit world.
Yeah, because we talk about the continuity of life, which it's very easy to say, isn't it? You know, we don't die and there's continuity of life. There you go, job done. But it's actually getting the understanding and the comprehension of what we're saying about the continuity of life, how that life continues. It doesn't end. It changes, but it doesn't end. And in fact, it's enhanced because there's so much more that could be achievable in spirit as opposed to being in the physical.
Well, in my opinion, I guess we can catch glimpses of it as we walk this physical life, but to really capture the fullness of it, my gosh, I can honestly and purely say there is no physical words to explain it, because it is beyond words.
Correct.
The beauty and so on. Definitely.
I often say to people, when a medium says to you, they're saying they love you, so 9 times out of 10, they're not. But the medium feels that love.
Yeah.
You know, it is that, again, this magical word of presence and the moment, and that love that comes through is just
beyond words. I find the words there.
You can't compare it to anything because it's so unique and powerful.
Can you imagine what a hug is like in the spirit world? It's much more than physical arms going around somebody, you know. It's so much more than that. And again, there's no physical words. And I might have said this story before, but years ago, I was sitting in the presence, and cut a long story short, I'd been there for a long time. And then a certain piece of music came on, and my brother came close. This was just about just a few months after my brother passed, actually. And before I even started this journey, I was just so like, I wanted to understand it. It was so amazing, when I was wanting to explore it more. And then my brother came so close, and again, there is no words, that our two souls were one. His tears were my tears were his tears. It's there wasn't even a word that is needed. It's like when we speak to people in the spirit world, there's this conversation of like, how are you doing? If you met your loved one, how are you getting on? You'd want to ask that. But in that presence and that pureness and that oneness, there was not even a word needed. Everything and anything I could ever want in the whole world was in that moment. And again, there is no words to explain that. The fullness of it. So it's just, again, that's just touching upon a hug from the spirit world. And now we can think, as those come close to us, like here, now, for example, we're truly being hugged beyond measure, beyond like unconditional love. And it just depends on how our mind is in a receptive state to experience a part of that.
Yeah.
And everyone has that hug now.
Yeah. So lovely Leslie Thomas, who we read from earlier, the bit that was truncated by the chat box here. She goes on to say, what I went to say was, as I spoke to my husband, it was soul to soul in the presence and power of our divine great spirit, creator of all, which mirrors beautifully what you just saying there.
Yeah, soul to soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Leslie.
Nice one. Thank you. Excuse me.
So, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's enjoying, which is wonderful. But yeah, the grief isn't, sadly, it's inevitable, isn't it?
Oh,
it is inevitable.
It happens in so many different ways. I mean,
indeed.
Yeah, our animals, and even if we're, like when I go to France to teach snowboarding and I'm away from my wife, my boy, there's a part of me grieving in some way, just wanting to that hug, But truly, if I'm thinking about it, truly, that soul to soul hug is already happening. Even although we're miles apart, it's soul to soul, as we mentioned before. And that's what it brings, as the heart reflects upon the soul, it brings that yearning of, we're living a physical nature. I want to wrap my arms around him at the same time, as well as having a soulful hug. Yeah.
And Geraldine picks up and literally is going to say about pets and grief as well. Listen, to people who are going through that grieving journey of people, this is not demeaning, but pets do it as well. I think I've got I don't know, I keep myself to myself. I don't open up very much at times. And I think that's slightly a preservation thing, because I find the experience of grief, of conflict and being let down, I find that really hard to deal with. So I try and keep that little buffer. But animals, I've got my heart from the word go. In fact, I'm panicking today because my squirrel, who's been around every day for the last 3 weeks, didn't come today. And I'm out there calling him, thinking, I hope he's all I'm walking up and down the road with a big pie in my hand. But it is so
Ah,
true, isn't it? It's,
a
it's that lot.
connection.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. It is that connection. And again, when we bring that back to our movement and what we do, it's trying to, we can never bring it back because we can't go back.
No.
We can go back as in the evidence that we present,
And
the
memories. Yeah.
Yeah. But once we've striven to get, is that a word? Strive to get that connection there, it should be of the now,
Yes.
that's going forward.
I always say to people in like in workshops and things like that, never look for the same experience twice, because that is through natural law. It's all natural world of cause and effect. It's always moving, always evolving, always changing. What we need to do is trying to learn to walk with it, and therefore we can open ourselves up to new experiences. And I guess sometimes it's because a special experience is one to hold, and because it might have been so beautiful, and that's something that the soul, the heart, the mind will forever have. It's like a gift in some way.
Yeah.
Gift to the mind and the heart.
Cat Goddess. That's a great name. I can get behind that one. True love is much more than some word we tell each other or even ourselves. It transcends all understanding, comprehension, logic, time, and anything and everything else, basically or pretty much. It's very true, isn't it? Because it's this huge emotion that washes through us like a wave.
Yeah. Again, I'm not no one to make it all about me, but it's just through my experiences. But I'm hoping in some way by sharing these experiences, people can take comfort in it too. And I know that many people here already have their own experiences. And it was just our last home circle, and I was sitting in the altered states and so on. And sometimes, when the spirit world start to speak, for example, there's a little part of me that kind of feels a little bit left out sometimes, because you come round afterwards and it's just like, you might have a clue of what's been said sometimes. But the last one, okay, so it depends where the attention is. The spirit world's attention is for the people that have been sitting in front. The strength and the energy, if you like, was there where they were able to put their attention to me for a while. But I was held in this space again because I was being the observer. My mum came close and so on. But from there, I felt all our dogs that we've had in the past, and I didn't consciously make that happen. I didn't consciously say, "Come on here, girl. Come on now." It's there, and I mean they've passed for so many years, but the beauty in it, it was. I was going to say it's like they're still living, but because they are, but that is just. I hope people can find comfort in that some sense. It's just that they're always there.
Very much so. And it's also the, nothing, I always say that nothing happens by accident with spirit. Everything that in our interactions with spirit, so where you are holding that space, I mean, that's already known by spirit. They already, I don't like that word because I'm teaching now not to use this, I'm waiting for spirit to bring something to me. And I keep saying no, because you're putting in a distance.
Aye.
Like, please stop saying I'm waiting for spirit to come to me, or hang on, they're coming close. They're there. Understand that they are there. You open up the doors inside, not externally. But when we are working in whatever respect, whether we're working on a platform, working in the church, running circles, I say to my circles, spirit already know about tonight. This isn't a spontaneous event. This
Yes.
isn't like two strangers meeting and then striking a conversation. This is already known, and all of our experiences are already known,
Yes.
and they're based on our needs.
And I remember Mavis Patilla always used to say, the demonstration's already been done. It's
Yeah.
already, it's everything. In my understanding, again, when we look at it, everything in all life is around us all the time. It's only what we're aware of is what can limit or enrich. Just like as maybe what you said there, I'm waiting for them to come. And guess if we can, I'm giving myself a lesson here too, in knowing this. And it's just like, it can be in anything in life, in our spiritual journey, in our work, as the world is a world of, I don't like the word using like energy, but it is
Yeah.
vibration, frequency, energy, and how we are able to harmonize and attune to that can then become a reality. And I guess we've all got a job to do, is to strive to make it a good one.
Yep. This is very
For
true.
us and for those in the spirit world, because they don't want us to feel hurt.
And when we get those times where we feel we're either treading water or swimming against the current, this is all part and parcel of life's rich tapestry. If you feel like you're swimming against the current all the time, maybe that's an opportunity to go, so what would happen if I just went with the flow?
Yeah. Yeah,
Rather
sometimes.
than, I want to keep this here. Why do I love doing that. I bring it back to self. Why do I not want it to change? I'm not blaming anybody else. It's me. It's my thing to own and to understand. Why do I not want this to change? What could go wrong? What could go right?
Yes, that's the better thing, isn't it? That's a good thing. And even in wrong things, what we may think is wrong is a stepping stone to the right thing.
Yeah. And indeed, in this wonderful, inspirational way that spirit work, there's the topic of tonight of loss, of grief of people. Please do not get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It happens and we adjust. And I love those comments about we grow around it. And we incorporate that into us. And of course, if we had the opportunity and say, no, I want them back, I understand that. I would give my eye teeth to have my mum and dad sat at the table right at this time.
Yes.
They are sat there, in the physical,
And we are like, well, me anyway, a person of like habit, if you like, or routine in some way. So I used to phone my mum every single night, 3 times a day, just because I could. And then when that's gone, that routine, again, that's another grieving in its own. Many people's, it's not just the loss and the missing of someone, it's all the things and everything that happened around it as well, that we can miss. And again, as we learn to grow with it, we learn to have new routines and so on, and finding our connection.
Those moments, isn't it? And you just think, they would love, you see something or hear something and you think, I must tell and it's that evolution of the soul. But death is part of life is part of death, and I'm not being demeaning there at all. I understand death is it's probably one of the hardest lessons.
Absolutely.
For us.
And in so many ways, as you mentioned, like children, for example, all the tragedies that's happened in life to many other people, it's can't imagine what people go through. And I guess we are lucky in a way, where we can grow in our understanding and our spiritual nature the way we can and the way we do. But we have many that haven't got that, where life has just been all the material things in some way, that I guess it moves them into a state of being where they're forced within themselves to look for a bigger and better reason to life rather than how it presents itself. And that's what happened to me as well, a good few years ago now. And that was the opening of the door, if you like, that allowed my own soul, the spirit within me to rise, and bring experiences and beyond the physical and conscious experiences of life. And yeah, I guess these times that you're amazingly bringing up these Lyceum evenings, how much is that enriching so many people's lives and so many people's ways, and where we won't even know someone could be listening to this in China just now, who knows, that have just lost a child and things like that. It's just yeah, and everyone's comments, and it's special.
It is very. The lovely Reverend Ashley, and she's put a comment in there. Can I just say what a very tender and healing conversation this is with you both this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. That does mean a lot.
And she goes on to say that I love this line. Do you know what? It's very hard to say this line without singing it. Oh, love that will not let me go. The vastness of this intelligence and power that works through all places and all times. So true, so true. Esmeralda from very cold Holland. I think it's -12 out there at the moment. That's a bit Baltic, isn't it? What are you up there at the moment?
Here?
Yeah.
We've been down to like -10, -12 as well. It was in some places it's gone a lot lower than that. Yeah,
I don't mind
especially at the mountain.
I don't mind temperatures like that as long as I'm in a wood chalet with a roaring wood fire, a sheepskin blanket, and a decent 14-year-old malt in my hand. That'd be great.
With your squirrel and your cat.
Yeah. Oh. I put a duvet on the settee about 2 weeks ago while I was changing it, and she's claimed it, so it's still there.
She's washed it just for you.
Yeah, she's done a Sheldon. Mine. I think. Well. Anyway, Esmeralda. The spirit world doesn't change. As spiritualists and mediums, there will always be a difference in percentage evidence. People in the world change, so how do we go with this in our mediumship and spiritualism? That's an interesting question there. How do we... There will always be a difference in presenting evidence, not presenting. People in the world... So how do we go with this in our mediumship and spiritualism? I may be wrong. I think where Esmeralda's coming from there is there's been a very common phrase, and it's always been used in our movement, but it does seem over the last 3 or 4 years it's used excessively, where you hear mediums saying, oh, spirit has changed the way they're working with me. Now, at first, I never challenged that, but after a while, I thought, well, do they? Or do we change?
I think it's us that changes.
Exactly.
As we grow, and then the experience through our perceptions, our knowledge, and all that kind of stuff will grow. And as we grow, we become more available to like new experiences from the spirit world. May that be new evidence or and things like that. But have you ever had a communication that has been so strong, and you have had like information that, I don't know, like a name you've never heard of before, or something like that. And I guess at the depth of the soul, there's an experience, and within that experience is all the information. And the more we grow soulfully, the more that can flourish in our lives, in our mediumship as well, and even like if you call it psychic, soul to soul, too. And we can see, or should I say, experience more depth in our communications. And I think that's, as you mentioned before, as we grow, the spirit world, the experience, everything grows with us. All our spiritual experiences grow with us, brings new understanding, new knowledge as well, because we question it. And aye.
And especially in the last 5 years is where we've moved online. Suddenly we're talking to people from different parts of the world, different cultures, different behaviors, and I find that fascinating. I find that absolutely fascinating. Translating our evidential mediumship for different countries and cultures.
Yes.
I was working, I'm going to forget where, it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. And there was a lady there, I didn't know where she came from. I think her name was Barbara in the box. But I said, I've got a man here and he's a hunter. Now, I just thought, that's a bit, for a UK thing, that's really out there. You don't have hunters in the UK.
No.
But yeah, he's definitely a hunter and he's a woodsman as well. And she went, oh yeah, because she's living right up near the Arctic Circle somewhere. And I went,
wow,
that's really interesting.
Yes.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Getting back onto tonight's topic, lovely Geraldine. I love Geraldine to pieces, but honestly, I think we could really, really end up in an awful lot of trouble one day. And she says, death is very much part of life, and we need to talk about it more. We are not great at this.
Yes.
Other cultures is very much part of life.
Yes.
Even in our own culture, I mean, it used to be, probably in many people's lifetimes, you could remember when there would be the woman in the area who went round and helped with births, and the woman in the area who would also go round and lay people out in the parlour. So the death was a little bit more part of our life.
Yeah.
But now it's this, people go somewhere, they're taken away and we lose that connection there. We introduce a distance.
And I think with our being mediums and our own life experiences, we can be limited in some way. As I mentioned, the depth of the soul, there's no limitations there. But it's how, through our life experiences, the conscious mind can be open to certain experiences. I was, just as that question came up, I've just written down, you know what, I'm going to go and maybe research somehow the different cultures and how they go through their rituals and things for when a loved one passes to the spirit world. Does this mean that's another growth in our spiritual journey, and then becoming more available to opportunities like that? I've had some stuff like that in the past, like placing like a lotus flower in the water with a candle in it and things like that, and it was part of their ceremony and so on. And the more life experiences I have, the more we can grow within it too.
Indeed. Stephen, That hour has absolutely flown by.
My
Absolutely
gosh,
wonderful.
so it has. Wow.
Oh, sorry, just very quickly. Hang on, it's still coming in. Lovely Geraldine again. Now, Geraldine, you're reading my mind. Geraldine says, in Ireland, we have a wake and everyone would be chatting, laughing while the person is in the bed passed. I witnessed that age 13 and there was nothing frightening or sad. It was beautiful, everyone talking about the man who had passed. When we were talking earlier, there was a memory came. I love this program, Derry Girls. I just think it's a wonderfully crafted, very historical program. Although it's a comedy, the historical side is fascinating. And in one scene, they are at a wake, and one of the characters is an English boy, and they go up to see the lady that had passed, and they're going, "Oh, didn't she look pretty?" You know, everything, and chatting away to her, and he stood there mortified, going, "Does anybody else not find this bizarre?" You know, what the hell is going on? It just highlighted, you know, just hopping over to Ireland. It's a completely different approach.
One post I saw, and on it was on social media, and it was a funeral in Ireland, and they just laid the coffin, and I guess they had to play a certain piece of something, and as they played it, it was the guy. He made this recording, and he was knocking on something. He was like knocking away, "Let me out of here," and all this kind of things, knocking on it. And everyone was standing around, not sad, but in stitches, laughing at the what he left behind for them, you know. And it's nice to know that they go with that personality still, and they still live with that.
Yeah, very true. Just quick comment here from lovely Esmeralda. Yes, that's what she meant, because with different cultures and knowledge of this, we can reach more people as spiritualists and evidential mediums and whatever we come into. So very true. But Stephen, this has been lovely to catch up with you again. Thank you so much.
Lawrence, and thank you everybody here for just your comments and things. I'm going to have to go through them all and have a little look and see if I can, somewhere on YouTube and Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Just kind of spend some time and read them, because they're all valuable. And thank you, everyone.
I don't know if you're still in the room or listening, Marion, but our thoughts go out to you for next Tuesday. Lovely Marion Frisbee has always been a very keen watcher and engager with our Lyceum nights. Her husband, Ken, I believe, he's been laid to rest on next Tuesday. So our thoughts are out to you, Marion, my darling.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. And it doesn't matter. I mean, Marion's a very accomplished medium. It doesn't matter, does it?
No.
It doesn't matter what sort of medium you are or how long you've been doing it. It's no different. No different at all. Leslie Thomas. I'm frightened of Leslie. Don't tell her. But and she says, "Thank you both for an informative evening. I'm sure that many that have this conversation this evening have given comfort and upliftment, healing and knowledge. So help them grow on a spiritual level, but also everyday life's pathway, emotional at times, but beautiful." Thank you, Leslie.
No, thank you. I hope they do.
Yeah. In the meantime, so you're off to Canada, you little monkey.
Yep. Well,
wow.
we've got an event, don't we?
Yes, we are online next Thursday, Wednesday.
Yep, the
Friday.
16th. Yep.
Friday. A week yesterday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm working my way up. I am somewhere on Wednesday as well. Yes, we are online with the Zoom demonstration at 7 o'clock on Friday the 6th.
7:30.
7:30.
Yes.
7 to 7:30.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And live from the church here, we have our service tomorrow, and it's going to be very different. Bless your heart, Marion. She is in the room. Thank you. It's going to be it's not going to be, it's going to be very different for a divine service. Now, the lovely Esmeralda, who's in the room tonight, is all her fault. So if you don't like it, please complain to her. But we had a discussion early in December, and that age-old thing of how do we appeal more to different generations. And Esmeralda came out with a comment, and it was a very well-found comment. And she said, the divine services are a little bit too orthodox, and some of the younger generation find that not, appealing. And I went, I agree, because our spiritualist divine services are a carbon copy of an orthodox service. Pretty much, if you are a working medium and you do a few divine services, wherever you go in the UK, that's going to be the format for the divine service. And Esmeralda came up with a different format, and I went, I really like this. And I showed it to Stephen Mager, and he went, I really like this. So we're going to do it tomorrow. I'm not going to go in depth because I'm sure there's going to be last minute alterations to it according to the presence of the moment. It's not disrespectful by any means. It still has all the elements of the divine service, but it's a different presentation. It's much more engaging and a lot more educational, because I love my education. As a movement, if we don't embrace education in everything we do, we are just going to be destined to become some oddity. And I don't say that lightly, it's very sad. So yeah, watch tomorrow. You can watch it live at 11 o'clock, what are we now, GMT, or watch it later on catch up on Facebook or YouTube and give us your thoughts on it, because it is something different. It's exploratory. But I'm really excited about it. So yeah.
Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it'll just be something good. Anyway, good night, everybody. God bless. Lovely Marion's in the room still. Bless your heart, Marion. Please take all our love, all our well wishes and healing from here in Paul and everybody else in the room.
Yeah.
Our thoughts will be with you on Tuesday and giving you what you need. Not for us to tell you what we're sending. It's up to you what you need on the day, my darling. Bless your heart. Stephen, thank you. So it's a very good night from me, and
a good night from me.
Okay,
Until next time.
You've been watching the two bodies. How wonderful. Good night, everybody. God bless.
Bye.